Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. The 6th of April, 2023 in the year of our dumpster fire. I'm your host. I'm gonna have a guest host coming up in a minute. Yeah. I said I'm seeing some. We got some Afghanistan. Listeners. Well, salam alaikum. Welcome to Sergeant's Time, Afghanistan. Oh, man. Well, thank you for all jumping in there. Let's see. We got Muhammad Lawal. We got Ahmad Ghalam. Well, thank you. Greetings, Afghanistan. How's everything going over there? You guys are you guys like, WTF? Yeah, that's the whole name of the thing. WTF Nation Radio and WTF. What's going on, Afghanistan? It's been a minute since we've had anybody from Afghanistan come in here. As a matter of fact, I think we posted. I was talking to the team about where our audience is at, and it appears that our audience is growing. It's going a good size, quite a good size. So thank you, Mohammed, for saying WTF, because that is WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. There you go. I just thought that was funny that you said that. So, anyways, so today we're gonna have something a little bit more. We're gonna have a little format change. Discussing with some friends over at Recruiter Times. And what we're doing now is, just like the weekend update on Saturday Night Live, we're going to have the USEREC tea time. USEREC tea with our illustrious guest co-host who's going to come in and yada, yada, yada for a few minutes, and then he's going to bounce out. But that's going to be like the new USEREC update. Due to the fact that we have so much USEREC stuff going on in the inbox, I figured, why not do a collab with our friends at Recruiter Times to get this knocked out and then, have it here from the horse's mouth. Sorry. Let me see it. Let me see what there was something that I wanted to pull up right quick. There was so that way somebody doesn't call my bluff. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So, let me just pull it up. That'd be better if you just pull it up and you guys could see for yourself. We were just talking about our audience size, and we're just talking about how our audience size has grown and has expanded pretty good. I kind of like the stats. I like seeing the stats. We've our locations and cities have grown to a pretty good amount. You gonna drop Deuce? Go ahead. So you see Dhaka Division in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Karachi, Sindh, Pakistan. Cambodia, even that crazy country in San Antonio. I'm just kidding. Peshawar, Pakistan, Mogadishu, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and Lagos, Nigeria. So just to give you the size of who our audience is, that's why you guys see funny messages, or you see funny quotes or things that does not quite look familiar, that may look foreign to you. Oh, that's why. It's because our audience is a global. Hang on, let me pull up another one here. What's up, Shane? Let me pull up another window cap of the same thing. So there we go. That's just some of the audience sizes that we have. Of course, U.S., Yeah, the Army's been in it, has been in the cities back in the day, huh? Pretty cool. Canada, Pakistan, United Kingdom, Australia, India, Nigeria, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. So again, a very diverse listening audience. I'm so glad that you guys can tune in and shows what's going on. So going back to what I was saying, our friends at Recruiter Times. Why did we do this? Why are we hanging out with our friends at Recruiter Times? There's so many things that need to come out that we don't know at U.S. Army WTF Moments without working in the USAREC realm, without knowing just the deets. So when I ask somebody, hey, what's the status of what, or who's it? Nobody on the admin team really doesn't know anything about recruiting on the ins and outs. They may have been a recruiter, they may have been involved in recruiting, but they've never been in the mix. And not available in Russia. That's right. Yeah. Reason why we there's the reasons why we're not available in Russia, because Russia's butthurt about some of the things we said, talking about them, and of course talking about the war in Ukraine. So, who I have that's gonna be joining me in a few minutes. As a matter of fact, I think, can you join right now, Adam? You wanna join right now? Okay, fuck it. Let's go. So again, we're going to bring on Adam Boktor, also known as Taliban. The guys call him Taliban. I don't know why. I don't. You'll see in a minute why the guys call him Taliban. So real quick, what's up, Adam? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Man, first off, it's a pleasure for you to come on, and I appreciate you and the guys over at Recruiter Times, just doing the pitch and say, hey, why don't we do something like this and all that until you guys get your stuff set up. So once you guys, this is kind of like a precursor what you're seeing with Recruiter Times. So more than likely you'll see Recruiter Times doing their own podcast, but figured, fuck it, let's get them some practice. Tell us about yourself, dude.
Okay, so yeah, dude, that's kind of been bothering me this whole time too. Like Taliban, it doesn't even rhyme with Adam. I don't know why they keep calling me that. It is what it is, though. I've just gotten used to it. But anyway, so when it comes to recruiting, let's talk about recruiting. So yeah, my name is Adam. I've been out of the game for a little while. I actually just retired 4 months ago, December, 5 months. I don't know. I can't do fucking math. That's why I joined the Army, right? So, I'll tell you, I did it for a while. I'm what is known. A lot of sergeant majors are the same thing, but they just don't know it. I'm what's called a has-been. Like I was really cool back in the day. At least that's what my mom told me, but not really much anymore. I'm kind of lame, and now it's just you guys coming to me and talking about all the same shit that I went through, and really up until the time I started a lot of years ago, until the time I left not so long ago. I think probably the one that everybody's just waiting for me to jump on is this Colonel. You know who I'm talking about, right? Was it Colonel Tremblay?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and talk it.
Yeah, so I think probably, he's one of a million. So I apologize for putting your name out there. You did it to yourself. But, you're just one of a million, so you're really not that special. It's just we have to use examples that were given. But I'll read to you kind of what the issue is here, what the complaints are. And this is coming directly from him. This is not hearsay or anything like that. I try to fact find a little bit. But I'll read it verbatim so you guys can have an understanding. So, thanks. Great work, Recruiter Times. Post is about 30%, 36% accurate, but go with it. Also right, I said phone calls are the answer. You are crazy, and obviously have never spoken to me or ever even heard me speak, but it fits the narrative. But sometimes, wait for it, you actually have to work. I'm not comfortable being terrible at my job, but the vast majority are happy being terrible at their job and then telling everybody how hard it is. That's toxic, and so is this page. Recruiter Times, you are definitely one of the problems. Door is 100% open for anybody who wants to exit 1st Brigade. I tell the brigade daily, it's about the right people in the right place. If you don't want to be here, I will help you be successful elsewhere. No worries and no impact on your career. Word. 1st Brigade is not okay with where we're at. Unfortunately, way too many in the brigade are not acceptable anymore. It's just not. So, like I said, one of a million. But let's break it down a little bit. Like, where, like, dude, this is the issue that recruiters are dealing with every single day. And man, this is a really, really, really touchy subject with me because I care about soldiers and I really loved recruiting. I really did. I feel like I was one of the few people out there who was doing it because I was passionate about it. Um, I know it's so dumb to say it out loud, but man, I love that fucking job. Okay, so first thing is the classic, the recruiters are not working. Dude, holy fuck my life. I cannot even count how many times I've heard that in my whole life. Does it happen? Of course it happens. Like literally everywhere you go, even in the civilian world, people are clock punching. It is what it is. Is that the reason why USAREC is failing? I would venture to say no. Like if you really cannot control your group of people without being all scary and intimidating and ruining careers and doing all this other shit because you don't know how to lead, maybe you shouldn't lead. I really don't think that recruiters aren't working, and it's been a constant problem, man, ever since I've been in there. You're saying that soldiers are complaining about, it's toxic. This page is toxic. That's another one that really bugs me too. And I would say that even more so for everybody out there in the civilian world who's had to transition. Um, it's tough out there, but you got options. You don't like a boss, you can do something about it. The worst case scenario is you can walk away. Like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you can walk away. USREC recruiters do not get that option, man. We don't get the option to walk away. We don't get an outlet because every time we complain about something, it comes back at us 100 different times. Where is the outlet for these guys? Everybody's talking about like what can we do better? Like how can we do this? How can we like but we need to focus more on just like the basics. Um and it pisses me off because you sit there and you say like soldiers are fucking complaining is toxic, but you're on recruiter times complaining about soldiers complaining. It's like, dude, you make no fucking sense. Like, and the worst part about this is it's fucking written. Like, dude, how many briefs? I don't know. Okay, I had to sit through a lot of public affairs briefs. Thank you, Laura. She was my favorite. I had to sit through a lot of them. I know those dudes up in these higher like guys and girls. Sorry, I know they go through all these same briefs. This is not rocket science. I wouldn't expect a day one person to know that. But if you've been around the block, take a second to check yourself. Holy fuck. Okay. Another one. Keeping in mind, this is one guy with a lot of examples everybody uses. So the open door policy. Is that where I'm at right now? No. I'm backing up. What's up?
No, go ahead. I'm going over notes too. Go ahead.
All right. Being terrible at your job. Okay, so here's another one, man. And dude, I can't. Are comments coming in? Are people telling me I'm full of shit or what? But,
no, man. Everyone's fucking saying that you're keep going, brother. You're doing great, good stuff. That's from Brandon in the chats. So Brandon Lowry in the chats. So
all right. So here's another thing: being terrible at your job, dude. What is being terrible at your job? And this one got me fired before. Okay, so is being terrible at my job not making an invisible mission that a person just literally made up, or only being able to produce what's literally physically possible? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. What's more terrible, the fact that you are taking this mission and you fucking live and die by this shit, or you're not a good enough leader that you can't understand that it's unrealistic, and one, you can't articulate that intelligently enough to your superiors, or you don't have, all right, you can't protect the people below you. That's the best way that I could put that. And if you can't do either of those things, you aren't effective. You are not a good recruiter. You're not a good leader. You're not a leader. Everything is a direct reflection of you, whether you did it or not. It's fucking aim. All right. And
Laura says, "Love the shout out. Thanks, Boktor." Lara Poirier. Is that how you pronounce it?
Public affairs.
Yep, public affairs.
Man, I got so many good stories with her. She's I had such a good time with public affairs, like with Kelly back in the day. She was our USREC public affairs. She was awesome. I had a really good time with her. Okay, let me not get sidetracked because I will. All right, the open door policy, dude. Why does that even exist? I've never I've never seen somebody use that open door policy and it actually work. You sit there, it's I seen a picture, man. It was like the open door policy, or somebody posted. I can't fucking remember. My memory is awful these days. But it was a knife for a door handle. You know,
Yep.
like that's the most accurate
Yep.
representation of the open door policy I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
That's an issue. That's an issue. And and once again, if it's just me out there, it is what it is. But if there's other people who are feeling this way, this is where we need to speak up. Because as much shit as I could really talk about all these people who are like this, there are people out there who are listening to this and taking this stuff to heart. Those are the ones I really care about. That's what I'm here. So we really do got to step it up, as a whole. But yeah, that open door policy. Okay, so here, be careful with this, guys. Okay, the open door policy, they're talking to each other, and their best interest is with each other, because when one of them fails, they all fail. Keep that in mind, but don't ever let that intimidate you from doing the right thing. And if you ever have issues with it, or if you're intimidated, scared, dude, hit me up, because I don't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck when I was in. You can ask any motherfucker on here. I didn't back down from nobody. Holy hell, that was a long 16 years though. I'll help you do it a little easier than I did.
How long were you a recruiter anyways? What was the when you first joined and then you became a recruiter, and then is that when you got out? What was your service time?
Yeah, you're really gonna expose me here. All right, so I joined back in 06 as an MP. Literally had every job. Show's
over. You just said MP. Show's over. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I started off as an MP. I did one tour, and then I came back. I re-enlisted for stabilization to go back. And then 2 months into my stabilization, got orders to USREC, and I spent a year and a half so fucking bad. Like it was really awful. And I swear, I have no other way to explain it except one day it all just clicked for me, and I fell in love with it, man. And I had an 11-year run with USREC. And I really I did enjoy it for the most part, and that's kind of the tough part when we keep hearing these same problems. It's like a lot of these people, they're my peers, or people that were my leaders, my first line leaders when I moved in, and we're still having these same problems, man. But it's okay, because we're talking about it and we're doing the right thing, calling these fucking assholes out. Okay, so talking a little bit more about that, there was another guy who came in there and talked about hitting the ground running and being out there with this guy, and this certain officer is so far off from reality, from boots on the ground, and this individual was saying that he needs to get out there, and I would just challenge everybody to really kind of think about that. USREC needs trust. This is a trust problem. Okay, this is a trust problem, because as a leader, I don't need to go to your school. I don't need to talk to your people. I don't need to do this. I like to, because that's just how I did things. But I have to trust you. And we throw around trust, it's this fucking word. But dude, if I trust you to do your job, I trust everything you're saying, and I trust the actions you're going to take in my absence. That is how you effectively lead. If you don't have that two-way trust, you got a problem. Problems are temporary. You can fix it. You can always fix it. But anyways, so I think that was really all I had about that guy. Let's see here. I was going to talk about Jonathan Majors. We're not going to do that. There was we're not going to go there. Yeah, that's okay. Tough shit, Army. Tough, dude. You can't catch a fucking break, can you, man? I'm so sorry. But no, all right. So the other one that everybody was floating around. My name got brought up again. Love it. Thanks, guys. Is this officer, so, and I know we did a little bit of fact checking behind it. Honestly, I really don't fucking care. So yeah, there was an officer who was involved in a certain situation, behavioral health case. That was her job, working at brigade. Anyways, a whole bunch of people dropped the ball. Cops were called. People got kicked out of the Army. It was like this whole thing, man. In this investigation, it came out that she had forged a degree, allegedly. And now from what I'm told, you know, it's done and over with. She gone.
Whoa, hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. So this individual lied on a degree to get a commission, to get a to commission into the army, to fucking.
Yep. So, well, okay. So one, information is limited.
Right.
So I'll tell you what I have. So the information that I have is it was a prior service member that they were serving, prior enlisted, who flipped over at E6 to go officer, and basically, you know, did what they had to do besides the fucking schooling, to get shit done. And that's so, but that's not the fucking crazy part. The crazy part is what got us there. And what did get us there, man? That's a really fun story too. How much time do I got?
Plenty.
Time crunch
We
here?
got plenty. We're not plenty. We got plenty.
Holy shit. Everybody who's sweating balls right now. Yeah, this one's for you fucking assholes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that to you guys. See, this is another user arc problem. I swear to God, when my face came out yesterday, my inbox fucking blew up. And it wasn't people like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. It was people sweat. People I haven't talked to, people I'm not friends with, you know, hitting me up, you know, just saying like, oh, you know, I forgot what one, I'll pull it up right now. I think he said like, go get him, but take it easy on me or some shit like that. Like, dude, like these people like genuinely know they just fucked me over, you know?
Right.
But like I said, every fucking day of my career, if I had some shit to say, I would have said it to your face because I'm not a little fucking pussy like you are. All of you. You know who I'm talking to. But anyways, so what happened is there was a behavioral health issue, you know? It was with me. I ended up going to the hospital, man. And it was a tough time, dude. I just got out of a 3.5 year long divorce, a terrible custody battle. It was really, really tough. You know, like I don't even think I would have made it unless it was for those guys that I was with, you know?
Right.
Like thank you so much for keeping it together for me, and holding me together. So anyways, the communication was flawed. It just wasn't happening. There was not enough communication from Brigade Health, coming down. So what ends up happening is they start coming after me because they're not having answers. I didn't have answers for them. To speed it up, basically things just started to escalate because they were backing me up into a corner. And like I've said, like, you're not going to back me up into a corner. And things just escalated. And where all this stems from is the fact that, what the hell is her name? Samantha Pelchek, Major, brigade level. I don't know. Or I'm sorry. It rhymes with Hamantha Elchek. So she's the wonderful person who literally fucked my entire life up for a very long time. But what ended up happening is that these guys were so mad at me, and they came at me in so many different ways. They sat on my paperwork. I was literally like, instead of me having a medical evaluation board, they sat on the paperwork, and literally I was forced out of the Army just one day, you know, and it was terrible. It was fucking awful, you know, like a single full-time father of 4. Like, you could see their terrible artwork, right? You know, they're working on it, but it's like, so, you know, I was forced out, and these guys just continued to lie about everything. And the worst part is all of their lies. Oh my God, every single one of them. I recorded everything, man. Fun fact, in the state of Minnesota, only one person has to know there's a recording going on. Protect yourselves. Everything they said. I was told I was no longer going to get any medical care from a battalion commander. I was told I was going to get fucked up by battalion sergeant major. I had to file a restraining order, a civilian restraining order against my battalion sergeant major. They sent somebody to break into my fucking house when I was home. They harassed my sister because my sister lives across the street. They're over at her place. Like, dude, it was like, it doesn't even sound real, man. What
it
they
doesn't, dude. It's incredible. It doesn't sound real at all. What the? Now this is now she was the one that was part of this, or was it her diagnosis of you? Bo?
Here's the worst part. The how my name got brought back up into this again was because of her, because of what happened to her. But the terrible part is she was the one who tried to come in and get all the problems solved that everybody else had fucked up before. So it's like, wow, it's just that's super shitty. That is a super shitty thing that you did. It's a super shitty thing that happened to you. And I wish these people the best, kind of. But like, god damn, you do it to yourself. Holy fuck my life, man.
So,
I don't. I do.
so her involvement was, I mean, she got busted, right? She got busted for having a falsified fucking commission
Yeah.
or degree. What happened to her?
So I don't have the rest of the details on that, man. So at this point, I wish you the best of luck and whatever the fuck else you need. It doesn't really matter. Like,
No, I hear you.
Yeah. So but she's once again, it's one of a million, dude. It's one of a million. And, everybody's gonna sit down here and act like they're an angel. My God, I could name off 100 million things I've done wrong. Do I hold it against her? Fuck her. But no, I don't really give a shit. What was done to me is already done, and that's the problem when it comes to like dealing with USREC soldiers, is the fact that it's not a conventional way of dealing with soldiers, and everything is so far spread out. Anybody in USREC can tell you it is difficult to get anything done because civilians don't want to deal with us, and the Army won't send us anywhere to get things done. So it ends up being super complicated. And I mean, when we're talking about mental health, dude, there are people blowing their brains out left and right, man. And this is such a serious topic with me, dude. But it's leadership like this. It is leadership like this that is literally, if I wasn't a stronger person, I'd have blown my fucking brains out, Like, and that's why I'm here. This is why I do things like this, man. That's why I'm still in recruiting, because I care about people, dude. And anybody out there could say, man, like, I don't know. We got a lot of work to do, though.
Now, do you think? Well, what's the culture? I mean, you just said it's not like dealing with any other soldier, dealing with other soldiers, but the culture. How is the culture? Like, what is it about the culture in USREC that changes from somebody being on the line? I got a good friend who was a recruiter too, and his outlook on the Army went for, I'm pumped, I'm motivated, ready to fucking do shit, and I'm here to help the troops. And by the time USREC was done with him, he was telling me shit that he used to do. He's like, I just didn't give a fuck anymore, Ken. I used to go to fucking, hey, there was time to go prospect or go do whatever. I took the GSA and went to a fucking bar and just chilled out and just fucking got the stress out. So what is it about that changed from the line to the fucking environment to where now all of a sudden it's so fucking, I don't know. It just seems like it's a bad, bizarro fucking corporate world. I mean, what's the fucking change?
It is. I mean, it's a much different game field than it is in the real Army, and it's so hard to answer that question, because I'll tell you the very unique thing about USREC is there's nothing blanket about it. You cannot blanket any policy, anything in USREC, because it is vastly different from station to station, and stations can be not that far apart, And so when we talk about different battalions in different states, and even in, like outside of here, like Guam, and like we're everywhere, it becomes very complicated. And then each new area is a different set of obstacles, and problems. And it takes a really, really strong person, one, to be able to be that flexible. Like, it is, we're soldiers, dude. We're muscle memory. Everything is muscle memory, dude. But in recruiting, you have to be fluid. And so I know that, like, even for myself, I had such a tough time with that at first. But ultimately, it comes down to the leadership. You will see, if you go to a place that is doing really good, it's because of it has a positive climate. One, they're either in a good market, it is what it is, or they have a good leader who knows how to balance that stuff. And being a good leader in USREC is not the same of being a good leader in the real Army, in the conventional Army. I had one of the shittiest officers I ever worked with. Literally the shittiest officer I ever worked with was probably one of the finest officers conventionally. Like, he would be everything that I want on the front lines in the battlefield. And he is literally dude, I would not want him anywhere near recruiting, period. It's just because, it's conventional. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
This is our plan. We
Yeah.
stick to it, and there's a lot of that stuff too. But where it ends up coming is it all rolls downhill. These leaders can't handle the heat, so they keep throwing it on the soldiers and they keep throwing it on them. Because that's their attitude, or that's what they're being told,
Right.
and they don't know how to protect them. They don't know how to defend them. They don't know how to take care of them. And sometimes it is their fault, and sometimes it's not. Like, you don't know what you don't know, but you can learn. But I would say that's probably the biggest one. And as far as like the challenges recruiters are having right now, holy shit! Like, you guys are awesome. I couldn't even imagine what it's. I am throwing around money like it's nothing in the civilian world at people. I couldn't even, and they're not even jumping on it because I can't keep up with the rising prices. Like, I posted a job, and a week later it's gone up $10 an hour. That's fucking crazy,
Right.
So I can't even imagine. But what I would like to say too is shit's gonna hit the fan in the civilian world really, really soon. Like, if anybody's kind of been watching the news or seeing what's going on, it's gonna be a really good time in recruiting if you guys capitalize it. If the leadership takes it serious and lets you plant seeds now, it'll all pay off when shit hits the fan. Because people are going to lose their houses, they're going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose everything. Everything's going to go to shit, and we're going to be their first choice, not their last choice after that. So
I'll let you go ahead and continue, but just real quick, somebody saying, as of tomorrow, I'll be completely out processed from USAREC. It goes without saying, tomorrow will be the happiest day in a long time. Leadership is completely non-existent from the top to the bottom in that command. Bring back General Muth and CSM Gavia days when times were actually good. What's your say on that? What's your take on that one?
Whew. Those were fun times, man. Those were fun times. They were a good leadership team. They really were. They understood that taking care of soldiers is more important than anything. And they had their own struggles too. Like, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for them, and they went through a lot of shit to take care of us. But they understood the task. They knew the assignment, and I think they rocked it. And keeping in mind, they weren't always the biggest fans of me. I'll tell you another story. I posted a meme one time. 5 minutes later, I got a 502 number calling me. And we all know that's never good. Who else could it be? Sergeant Major Gavia. Holy shit. She was so mad at me. She's like, I can't believe you. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was remember the girl who was like, like when Trump won or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep. It was that, like, when they tried to impeach him or whatever, like, oh, still your president. Whole dude. Yeah. And like, I don't even care, like, one way or the other. I thought it was funny. She called me. She's like, you will be here at Fort Knox in front of me. I'm like, oh my God. She cussed me out, told me like I was going to fly out to Kentucky to go one-on-one with her and everything. And I had to go walk like a fucking puppy with my tail in between my legs, go tell my battalion commander. He's like, what the fuck did you do? I had the meme. And oh, that was it? That's pretty funny. I wouldn't worry about it. Like, okay, like, I guess. But no, it's, here's the thing, man. Good times, bad times, they never last. They never last. Mr. Scott McKinnon, my ride or die. We had it so good. We were lit, dude. I don't know if he's on or not. I mean, we were chilling at Starbucks, working, killing it, ranked number 1, just having a good old time, man. Just having a good old time. And I forgot where I was even going with that.
Well, it's about Muth and Gavia. The good times. Yeah.
So it was good, and then. Was it bad? I don't know. I don't remember. But dude, just him and I. That's where I was going with this. I forgot it again. Fuck my life, man. I'm such an idiot.
Yo, you're good, man. You're good.
I'm not even high either, dude. Not yet, at least. So.
Somebody else. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to lose your train of thought, but people are. I'm going to go a quote with Oscar in the chats. People think this recession is going to be like 2008. It's not. The workforce has a surplus in 2008 because of boomers. Right now, replacing boomers is a struggle. And boomers won't be in the workforce this time. Jobs will still going to be in a surplus. So That's what from Oscar. And Brandon said, if I had a nickel dime for every time I said fuck my life.
Right.
Hang in there, Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, dude, the recession. I don't know. People don't want to use that word. Dude, nobody knows. Nobody will never know. But I would just say now's a really good time to prepare for it professionally and personally, Um, it'll be a good time to capitalize it for the recruiters out there, man. But you're gonna have to work it. You're gonna have to plant the seed now. So
what's the technique though? What is the technique that because I'd always see hanging out with you guys for a little bit, and then shooting the breeze with you guys. It always seemed like they're just somebody doesn't get it. Like we've had the revolutionizing of the internet. We had social media. We had all this other shit. Why are we fucking up here? Why is it that it seems like the recruiting leaders on the recruiters are just seem like they just have their fucking thumb on them, and it's like you would think it'd have gotten better. Is there a practice issue? Is there some new technique we need to look at?
That's another tough one, and a lot of this it'll just depend on who you ask. With me, I don't think USREC's ever going to have it easy. Honestly, I think when it comes to dealing with the challenges, there's too many variables every single day, changing leadership, changing of the economy, our competitors, the other branches, flexing their tattoo policies. And we're catching up. We tend to be a little bit slow on things like that, but there's just so many different factors that go into, like what really makes somebody fail their mission, and then everything that comes with that. But if I had to put the blame back on the recruiters, if I put myself back in a recruiter, I would say the most beneficial thing that I found personally, whether I was recruiting in some shitty place in Minnesota where nobody wanted to join, or the land of milk and honey down in Texas, was product knowledge, and that's the big shift that I noticed was there wasn't as many kids joining. Really, the last probably 3 to 5 years that I was recruiting, it was a lot more adults, a lot of graduates who weren't doing what they wanted to do, or they went to school for something and then realized that they didn't want to do it anymore. And fuck, I forgot where I was going with that again. Fucking aim. You got me right. What was I saying?
I got you. No, you're right. No, I was just talking about the old practices because it just seemed like, I would have thought that it would have been a little bit easier for recruiters to not get that fucking stress. You know what I mean? To not get that, to not be stressed out about it. So I was thinking, okay, why is it so fucking hard now? You would think with the advent of the web, social media, you guys still doing cold calls. I mean, you guys are still doing, they want you guys to go out there, do the face-to-face and stuff and all that. Schools are not letting you, or having an issue with recruiters showing up. It's almost like, it's like, okay, so why are you beating up the fucking recruiters? And why aren't you giving them the same, I guess you would say leeway that you would do down on the line? Because down on the line,
yeah,
you fucking mess something up, you just have to you do retrain, and then everyone enjoys their 4-day weekend. And USREC, somebody fucks up and nobody gets a 3-day or 4-day weekend. I just can't wrap my mind around that.
I think, I don't know, man. There's so many different things out there. And it's all different. Like when we're talking about like failing, it's the phone calls, dude. It's like, ugh. Like me and a whole lot of people, we spent probably about 3 years just fighting to use social media, like when everybody else was already jumping on it,
right.
we were so far behind on it. But one thing I do want to put in there before I forget it is I think it's also very, very important that as much as we expect our leaders to be great, we also have to understand their position. And realizing they don't get a chance to say no either. This is all being dictated from Congress, and a much larger issue. So, understanding where they're coming from or why they're doing things is going to be the key to keeping your own sanity. Because if you know that they're just being a piece of shit because they're being told to be a piece of shit, do what you want with that information. But the problem is because it's so different everywhere that they go, everything problems don't even come out, you know, like the situation with mine completely swept under the rug, you know. And because it's all about mission, you know, it's mission, 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 because that's what they're told. It's a no-fail task. The reason why I think it's so different, and obviously combat is so much worse, like how can you even fucking compare that? Like you can't. And I think the big thing with that is in a combat scenario, it just makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to not do it,
Right.
fucking people will die.
Right.
But in USREC, if it doesn't make sense, fucking roll with it, dude. You know?
Fucking do it and see what happens type shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sucks, you know? And like, is it comparable to combat? Absolutely not. Like it just isn't. Can it be just as serious as somebody mentally? Absolutely.
Right.
And there, I know a handful of dead soldiers who could testify to it if they were still here, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Because the reason why is this also on top of another question that somebody asked: what do you feel the impacts recruiting more these days? A, qualified applicants that don't want to join, or applicants that do not qualify. What more these days? I guess you would say. What would be impacts recruiting more? I mean, from what you see in the inbox. I mean, because you guys. I mean, because you're like I said, you're working at you're the guy on the ground. So, is that applicants just do not qualify and we just want to get them in and then, or is that people say, nah, fuck that. I know I'm qualified and I don't want to fucking join. Well, what's the?
I would say it's a whole lot of both. Once again, it depends on the area, because I literally ran into both down in Texas. Everybody wanted to join, but we couldn't get them qualified, you know, and it was heartbreaking because there's just some really good people, man. Some really good people we couldn't help. Whereas the complete opposite up in Minnesota, where, you know, the quality of candidate is higher here. You know, the average is higher here. A little bit more issues on the medical side, but it's definitely both, and that's why it's such a unique challenge, because everywhere you look, there's an obstacle, and that's, you know, like Colonel Tremblay. As much as I hate to, I'm not even gonna vouch for him or say anything, but you know, like at some point we can't always have an excuse for something, because there's literally always excuses. And that was what kind of made my success with me and my soldiers, is we really tried to not dwell on things like that. And the problem with that is there was no buy-in anywhere else besides us, and so it was us against the world, man. And that's where so many of these stations are, because it's so drastically different where they go. But yeah, I don't know. You're going to start to see that we're going to have to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I was working another job, and they made things very tight on their recruiting. And it was a lot easier to see. It was a bigger company, and things happened a lot quicker. But it was really, really easy to see that when they got tight on their standards, we couldn't do it anymore. And
Right.
so what was the first thing that they did after they fired a bunch of people? They loosened the fucking standard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They had to.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing USREC did. They fucking got rid of these underperformers, these underachievers. It's
Right.
like, man, I know a whole bunch of underachievers sitting above us right now, but nobody's calling them out.
Right. You know, I think a lot of it too is that people, again, I've without working in recruiting and only hearing stories and only talking to you guys, I just for me, I just can't process it in my head how it's just talking to people, getting them to join. Why are the seniors giving you drama? That's always been my thing. It's how the fuck are these guys giving you so much fucking drama when really you're just required to go out and recruit? And if you can't fucking get somebody to recruit, what you want to beat them fucking the fuck down? And let's talk about the new Army BLUKB shit, the new BLUKB campaign.
Ooh.
Personally, I'm an old guy. I joined on BLUKB and I thought it's pretty cool. However, there was also a situation where the spokesperson, Jonathan Majors, the guy who was part of the campaign, got arrested for putting hands on a woman, and there's back and forth on whether it was did it happen or did it not happen? The victim's recanting it or she's not recanting it. The lawyer's saying that they are.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Oh my God. I said we weren't going to talk about this.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm just joking.
I was like, oh shit.
Dude, so,
Show's over.
So, you know, Jonathan Majors, Kane the Conqueror. Like,
Right.
I don't know. You know, I don't know, dude. I don't even know the story. I read the little tidbit about it. I seen that. Was it his lawyer that put something out about
Right.
the
About what the
yeah,
victims purportedly said. Yes.
yeah. It's so tough, you know. But the problem is you know, perception's reality right now, so it doesn't matter, you know, what anybody thinks. It's what's out there. You know,
Right.
it's bad. That's bad. But I also don't. I also don't think. I don't think it's going to be as detrimental as everybody might think it is. I think to us, like internally, we're like, oh fuck, another one, you know.
Yeah.
It's like what else? But like everybody else has real fucking problems, you know.
Right.
Like, you know, like I don't know, they're getting their ass beat by their fucking husband. Like I don't know. But like just I don't know, being out here in the civilian world, like nobody really cares about what's going on there.
Gotcha.
People are worried about Kane the Conqueror, you know.
They didn't know that. Well, some people didn't even realize that he was part of the army campaign until it was highlighted, and they were like, he was in the army campaign, and then they watched the videos and like, holy shit, he is. All right. So next topic, then, real quick. This is some of my picks. The army recruiting ribbon. Go.
Yeah, dude. So that I don't even know what to say about that. Is anybody throwing comments about that recently? So I just heard about this. And how do I feel about it personally? Man, I always feel like everything I say, everybody fucking is against me on it. I really don't think it's a bad thing. Like, dude, everybody's so worried about money, blah 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 blah. Like, dude, get these kids to help out recruiting. Like, I really don't see the bad thing about it. You know, is there like a counter argument? Are people talking shit about it?
Well, I think a lot of people are most of the issue that people are talking about it is that you're cheapening other awards because now they're talking about saying we're going to give you an MSM, we're going to give you a fucking ARCOM, we're going to give you an AAM if you get this much, and then there's already kids that there was some of the things that you and I talked about. There's a kid out in Fort Rucker already that got the ribbon that got that new Army recruiting ribbon.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if the counter argument is people, oh, it's going to bring less value to my stack. Grow the fuck up, people. That shit doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. This is my opinion.
Right.
This is my opinion coming from a ribbon chaser. Everybody used to, do you look like a fucking Mexican general? You know, like I loved them. I loved showing I was better than everybody else.
Right.
It's so stupid looking back on it. And you know, I'm glad I figured it out young enough where it doesn't matter.
Somebody said that it's a trick for USAREC to get dassers to get
Oh my god.
Somebody said that if the Army were to find out how many people had Army were to find out how many people had recruiting ribbons, they just found their new crop of recruiters. Dude,
that's fucking strategery right there, man.
It is, man. Do you think
that's a genius for figuring it out?
Be careful. Do you want me to push your name out? No, I'm just kidding. So with that, so do you think that? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I kind of like what you just said. You wanted to show somebody that you're better than them. Imagine some kid coming off the line and then just walking in with the recruiting ribbon already, showing up as a recruiter. That like you said, hey, I'm gonna show off that I'm better than you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let the kids have fun, man. Why is everybody shitting on everybody having a good? You guys are talking about, oh, they treat us like shit. You're gonna shit on some fucking ribbon. Let the kids have fun, you dick. Jesus Christ. Fucking ribbons. I will buy anybody who wants a fucking ARCOM if you're scared it's gonna lose its value. I'll buy one for you.
So you got some people here. 100% the yes, it's awesome. 100% the ribbon. And the idea is awesome. Let's be real. How many of these will be actually processed and then slipping through the cracks?
Solid.
Is this a replacement to the National Defense ribbon? a 99 cent ribbon is cheaper than the 30 million they spent on SR or SRAP for 30 contracts or whatever. Recruiter's ribbon with a silver star oak leaf. It's a hard ribbon to get. You have to refer someone to enlist, ship, and it is indeed a legitimate difficult task. So I'm with you, man. I'm like, you know, right now, specifically now, because there's new promotion points now. There's new Sergeant Major of the Army today just put out new promotion points that's been done. And so I think with the calm down of the GWOT, you know, the Infinity War being gone, you know,
Nice.
there's not many. So like right now we have combat fitness tests and we have enlisted promotion and reductions, and now we have a new standard of promotion points on what a soldier can get for promotion points. And current points is 200 for military education, 125 is for awards, but now effective 1 April, it's 145. So I'm kind of thinking that, you know, getting that type of ribbon, you know, achieving, I guess you would say, you know, that's a good point. Somebody just asked, can you get this ribbon after you retire? Like for me,
Why the fuck would you want it when you retire? Let it go, guys. Let it go. Holy shit.
Well, you know,
it's not enough I'm here after I retired, but let that shit go.
Do you think though? I mean, that's a good point though. Do you think a soldier for life? Do you think a soldier for life should get a certificate or a recognition or a coin to do that? I mean,
if we're talking about innovative ideas, absolutely.
Right.
Like whatever we can do to help the mission out, like absolutely. And the best part about it is you don't need a ribbon to do that. You know, you can take care of these people in other different ways, you know.
right.
But it goes back to kind of the problems that you're saying, you know, why is it so different everywhere you go? People don't, recruiters aren't getting the time to build relationships and do things like that with people who are of influence, you know, because
Right.
they can't join the army right now. And these guys, a lot of them, they're getting beat down. Like they need to go find somebody who can join right now. And that's not how recruiting works, man. You got to take time with people. Like they have to see you as a person, you know? And so like, if we were able to flip that and, you know, and start taking care of these old guys who are out, like, cool, you know, good for them, man. If that's what we got to do.
Yeah. Also, somebody mentioned too that the good story that you hear about a retiree helping somebody join the army, and then they get some free chicken. And it may not be the ribbon, but it may be like a certificate or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it might be, maybe there should be like a civilian version of it for retirees or something like that.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point.
Yeah.
That's I don't know if they're thinking about it, but there you go. You heard it here first. That's a pretty good idea. Pretty good idea. But you brought up a good point I forgot to mention earlier. And it has to do with, you know, the type of leaders we were talking about earlier. And somebody mentioned it in a previous post, but you know, these are the people that you're screwing over. Those are the ones telling the army story out there. And I'll tell you, I used to believe like if you hated the army, you were gonna hate it anyways, you know. And me, I loved it, you know. I had a really good time, you know. And then everything changed, you know. And like at this point, it's very hard for me to even talk about the military anymore, you know, let alone talk about it good. And everybody I know has already been exposed to it, you know, and I'm
Right.
here in Minnesota. So where there's not a lot of exposure, it's not good, man. It's
Right.
that's the face of your army out there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So the stories that you hear, though, I mean, most of the stories that you're hearing out in the world is mostly because you know me being part of WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, I've not completely detached from the Army experience because we still have members that are still in. We have people who are in reserves or DA civilians, and so I'm just like curious that those stories that you hear, they're bad. I mean, I've seen you guys chat before. They're not like, hey, the reason why I got put out of the fucking Army, and I said this before in a previous Sergeant's Time, and also a Monday edition broadcast, is that the reason, as I think that some leaders not realizing when they fucking tell their soldiers they can't go on their ETS leave, that they're perpetuating the homeless veteran issue. And so you got those guys that don't let you, hey, I don't want to do it. And those stories go back with you. So you got a guy who barely, you know, made it by the skin of his teeth, had to scramble to find a house, had to scramble to get a fucking job because his commander wanted to make sure that NTC was happening. And then the next thing you know, he's like, you think he's going to have a good story to fucking tell at the VFW or whatever. So I'm pretty sure you hear those stories is what you hear a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it depends on how a veteran feels that day, but yeah, I mean, it's a problem, man. It's a problem, and I'll use my own example, you know, where I've gotten to the point where I don't hate the Army anymore because I really did, but I got away from that because for a lot of years I would tell everybody like, don't hate the Army, don't hate USREC. person problem. Like, they're a piece of shit. This is fine. We can make this work. But I forgot what I was saying again. Fuck my life.
Your fucking story. Now you're talking about your story about it. You were saying that this is not. No, you're right. This is not solely an army, all army or all USAREC story. Because like you said, you love doing recruiting. You love doing it. So just like with me, I would rather have a bad day in. I mean, not because I'm a retired PSYOP guy, and I used to tell soldiers when they complain in PSYOP, I would say I would rather have a bad day in PSYOP than any day in the big army. And I'd give them that old man, I had it tougher than you, or yada yada. But just to kind of like cheer them up. Hey, it's fucking even worse out there. You could be in USAREC, and everyone's like, oh shit, no, fuck that. And then there's somebody who said, hey, I want to join. I don't want to be a drill sergeant, but what do you think about recruiting? And I sat down and shot the shit with the troop, and the individual decided, yeah, I think I'll go to USAREC, and then they didn't do too bad. I mean, they didn't sit there and said it sucked, but they said it was hard work, it was a good experience, and then that was it. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
But you're right. Yeah, it's not only to one unit. So you have a bad fuck up in one organization, the whole fucking organization sucks. That's what somebody says.
No, I think and I'm sure other people felt this way or feel this way too. I think my current struggle, if I could just be transparent with you guys, is now I'm at the point where, like, I don't know if I really hated the Army, or if I just hated that it wasn't what I needed it to be or what I wanted it to be, what I thought it was going to be. And that's something that I still, it sounds so dumb saying it out loud, but I still struggle with it every day, man. Because I was a passionate guy, dude. Like, I cared about that fucking mission, and I cared about the people, and I didn't fucking lie to fucking nobody. Everybody got the truth. You tell me you want to go infantry, you better be fucking careful what you ask, because I will get it for you. And to just go from just being a guy who's so full, the Army was the first thing in my life I was ever good at, and so I was used to failure. Maybe that's why I was good at USAREC, because I'd been a failure my whole fucking life. The Army was the only time I'd ever been successful. At the end of that, it all started to get taken away from me. That was really tough, man. And these are the issues other people are going through. These are why they're having tough times transitioning out of there. That's why they don't have good stories, man. And that's why, mental health, it's a fucking crisis, dude. It's a crisis, and I said it 100 times on here tonight. I'm sorry, but somehow I always keep going back to that.
No, it's okay. Now, it's something that's always at the top of your mind. You want to get it off your chest. It's better to get it off the chest and keep it. You know what I mean? We're going to take a break right quick. As a matter of fact, you were only going to be on for a little bit. I'm going to fucking keep you on for the rest of the show. And you can just join in and shoot the shit if you want. If you got time, are you cool?
I might have to bounce. I got 4 little needy ass kids.
You got little ones? Okay, well then, hey.
Yep. I'll stay as long as I can.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break right quick. And then, I got, again, Sergeant First Class, retired Adam Boktor, also known as, did they call you USAREC Taliban, or that was just a joke, or that's just between the guys?
I don't know. It's a lot nicer than the other things people have called me.
Exactly. We're going to take a break right quick. We're only going to take a break for a few minutes, and then we'll be right back so we can keep on the extended introduction of the premiere of the USAREC Tea Time. So stand by.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Left it all behind. I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Just figured we keep old Adam on here for a minute and shoot the breeze some more. He was on a roll, and I figured, fuck, man, I love this energy. I can't keep this energy down. I gotta keep you going. So, real quick, let me ask you this: what's the state of USARIC now? What is your, from what you've seen in the inbox, from what you've seen in your experience? I know Recruiter Times, you guys, and some of your posts that you guys post, that you guys put on your pages and your social medias are I mean, you guys actually post questions and post some of the solutions and engaging in the audience. So with that, I was thinking, what's your take on the current status of USARIC right now? What's the
good question? I would say it's probably no different than it really is any other day. It's a different set of obstacles. It's a different group of people, and it's the same shit, you know. I would tell you the really big thing that needs to happen, if there is going to be change, it's got to come from the bottom. This is it's so hard to phrase this right. I don't know if ownership is the right word, man, because you kind of do got to own what's yours. But you got to be smart about it too. You got to know when to draw the line in the sand. And that not knowing when to draw a line in the sand is a common problem right now. Same problem we've had for a lot of issues, a lot of years, man. Things are never going to get better from the top. You know, they can try to protect you. They can try to screw you over all you want. And can they make things a lot easier for you? Yes. Can they make things a lot worse for you? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're going home to yourself, man, or to your family. And like, you got to find a way to make it through. Like, you have to. It's not any easier anywhere you go. You know, it's just a different set of problems. And to sit there and to just constantly fail all the time, it's a tough thing for a leader to go through. And everybody in USREC is a leader. Like, I'm sure we've all heard that, but like, everybody in there is an NCO, you know, not just all of our leadership, but you know, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for these little guys to really read up on the regulations, to get their product knowledge up, to understand not just recruiting, but understand the Army stuff too. And knowing your rights and your role and the role above you, and things like that. I don't see it changing unless it's going to change from the bottom. Period. There's just nothing, and that's why when you see success in USREC, you never see USREC made it. You know, like, yeah, like we did it. No, it's like this recruiting station, you know, killed it, and this recruiting station did awesome over here. You know, what is making those stations successful? Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm sure a bunch of people in the comments could tell you a million different ways that we could change the culture and do all these different things. But the bottom line, man, this shit's never going to change. I don't really know if it can. And I would love to hear everybody else's thoughts on that. But if we take a realistic look at USREC, it is literally the worst case scenario of a command. Like, just unachievable mission, you know, that right now. But we also don't, like, we can't fail. But can we really not fail though? Like,
but is it really... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it really? And that's another thing too. Is it really a failure? I mean, is it really a failure? I mean, you always hear the term, you miss SP, people die. If you don't do this, you know, whatever. Everyone has these big grandiose fucking comments. You know, if you miss chow, people die. If you don't let your soldiers eat first, instead of you're a shitty leader and people will die. But do people really? I mean, is it really that? Do people die? I mean, is it really that serious? To like, because I seen guys that are recruiters, and I got a nephew. My nephew is a recruiter, and he's hustling. He is busy as shit, and I'm just like thinking, he's like, hey, we did this, we did that, we did this, and I'm doing this, and I'm planning that. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I'm like, oh, okay, fucking hey, cool. And then he goes, and then I'm like, do you think that's too much? I'm like, bro, I'm not a recruiter. I don't know. I don't know what's USREC's version of success. And so you bring up a good topic. You don't fail. I mean, but you're not failing if you didn't make a number. Who comes up with these arbitrary numbers? Who's the number maker? Who's the one that's telling you you fail because you didn't? I'm like, wait a minute. I know some what do they call them, heavy hitters. I know some heavy hitters that are just killing it on the recruiting front, and then they come back and they're like, my chain of command still thinks I suck. I'm like, god damn, dude, what's the why is it set up like that?
I mean, it's once again, it's so different because like one a month. That's kind of if you could put one person in the Army once a month. Most of the time, you're going to get left alone. If you could do that in Minnesota, you were a god. 12 a year, you're awesome. You do 24 a year down in Texas, you just committed fucking murder against USREC. Like, if you are not overproduced, and it's the land of milk and honey.
Right,
it's still
right.
difficult because you got to sort through everything.
Right.
But just two totally separate things. We're 60%, 60 to 80%. Is success up here in the Midwest. I don't care what any fucking leadership has to say about it. It is what it is. We're down in Texas, 100% is failing. Like you should be doing more. Now, the numbers, we can't control the numbers, but what we do with the numbers, we do have control over. So do we offset a little bit where we hit heavy, like down in Texas, do we crank up the mission to make it a little bit more fair, or however you'd want to word that? Because like I said earlier, you cannot blanket anything in USREC. It's too different from where you go. But yeah, I mean, like it just depends. Like you can find a way to be successful anywhere you're at, but you nailed it. You got to define your own success. And you got to, one, do it in your mind and don't give a fuck about what anybody else says, or two, articulate it on your NCOER and your counselings. Like, you need to put that stuff in there. If it's unrealistic, know and be able to articulate why. If your leader doesn't want to do their job, do it for them. It's the same thing I tell with my kids. Like, dude, you could tell your brother what the fuck to do. He is not going to do it. But you could keep telling him to do it, or we just help each other out. Everybody's happy, not as easy, but goddamn, same principle. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. USREC as a whole, we're oof. I'm here for you guys. Whenever you need it, call me. If anybody's in Woodbury, Minnesota, I got a whole ass thing of weed waiting for you, man. We'll have a good old time.
Most of the time though is the you said earlier that the numbers come down from Congress. And when they divvy it up, does USREC say, all right, this brigade gets this many, this brigade better produce that many, or how does that fucking work?
So, it's going to vary for the most. I would say for the most part, it's like a planning meeting. I forget what they call it now. But leadership who represent the organizations, whether it's a brigade or battalion, station level, they usually get some input when it comes to that. The problem is this is another issue. You might have a senior battalion commander who understands the game. They got a sergeant major who knows how to work the numbers. And then you might have a more junior team where they just kind of get screwed over because they don't really know the difference, Right. Or we get these areas like Louisiana and in the Midwest where we get this dump off mission, like, where it's unrealistic for somebody like in the Midwest to do it, but it's like, who fucking cares? They're going to fail anyways, but we're going to make all these other places successful. Well, okay, if your success is based off of those individual numbers, you're failing. You're missing the point. We're here to build a fucking army, not make mission. And if we make mission by doing that, cool. But like, if you're going to literally discount an entire population or area of people and then cut it off after that so we can try to find more people in a place that just doesn't historically produce it. That's crazy, you know? And so there is a little bit of input in it, but at the end of the day, you really can't change the numbers. You can only work with them. And that's the underlying issue with it all.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know it's like you were saying, I don't like, to me, when someone fails at something, and to me, it's telling somebody that they failed I mean, it hits someone. It hits them, you know? Yeah, exactly. So I then, you know, your soldier did something wrong because of you were neglectful in your training or your mentorship, and you say you failed that soldier. I could see that. But when you don't make a number, when you don't make a fucking number, then you're being called a fucking failure recruiting. And I'm thinking, get the fuck out of here, man. I mean, how could you say somebody fails just because, and I see some of the guys that go into recruiting, guys and gals that go into recruiting, they're fucking, like you said, they're stacked. They got fucking ribbons. They got fucking the drill sergeant badge. They got all the fucking cool, you know, they got multiple fucking combat patches. They've been everywhere. And to tell them, hey, you fucking failed because they didn't call somebody enough. I mean, it's almost like USAREC wants you to be fucking stalkers. Yeah, it's like paid stalkers.
Honestly, that is the biggest issue that I seen with combat arms specifically was that this group of individuals who are literally bred and trained to just be fierce warriors and fucking win anywhere they go are put into a situation where they cannot win and they continue to fail. And that is a hard thing to go through.
I bet.
And, you know, you're talking about a guy or girl who can throw on, you know, 100 pounds and go walk 12 miles in 2 hours, you know, it's, you know, cool. And, you know, and other people who can literally go clear out a whole fucking village, you know, and then go out and do it again the next day. And then to take that person, bring him over here with your fat ass hanging out over your fucking belt and your gross ass double chin and sit there and call them a fucking failure, you know? Like it's hard. It's hard. It is a hard thing for soldiers to be able to take that shit. And man, where war is physically and mentally tough, you know, recruiting is mentally torture. Like you cannot be told you're a failure all the time, and not just being told you're failing, but actually failing. So one, you're already failing, and then two, they're just confirming and making you feel worse, you know, and everything you do is revolved by you being a failure. Oh, we're going to get you more training so you can be better. Okay, well, I'm doing training because I suck. Or,
that's got to do something. That's got to do something for a recruiter's psyche to be such a fucking, like you said, to be such a fucking badass, to be, or not, or hell, even just an average soldier that fucking mind their P's and Q's, that got promoted quick, and their combat on their tanker, infantry, whatever, soft, name your field. And they've been winning the whole fucking time. They've been succeeding the whole time. And like you said, then you have some fat fuck who's been avoiding combat the whole fucking time, that has been in a fucking recruiting station since 9/11 and calling combat veterans shitbags. And dude, that right. I mean, dude, the stress level, I would be like at a boiling point. I'd be like, you know, that meme where that guy fucking explodes and fucking fire comes to his head. You got some fucking somebody who didn't deploy, and then you're like, you're a failure, man. This guy led patrols in Afghanistan and in fucking Iraq, and you're telling him or her they're failures because they didn't stalk somebody enough. I'm gonna always say that. I said something to my nephew, and I called it tactical stalking, and he just laughed because, yeah, okay, Uncle Ken, it's okay. You can kind of say that. I'm like, come on, guys, admit it. It's fucking tactical stalking.
No, dude, I can give you a perfect example, and I can do this because I know the guy's commenting. He's here. He can vouch for it. I'll give you a perfect example of what positive leadership can do. So there was a station, and this was Texas. So there's a station called Abilene. It was an 8-person station. The highest that they had achieved as far as mission accomplishment for a month was 60% in Texas. Wrong answer. So the leader, whatever, like it wasn't working out. So everybody got fucking fired. Everybody was under investigation. Like, it was a fucking wild, wild west out there. So, my leader at the time, one of the best leaders I ever had, Josh Morrison, he actually sent me TDY for 3 months. And this is an 8-person station. There was 3 people left. That every dude, it was so bad. Like,
God, it sucks.
Oh my God, one kid got caught banging a girl in a high school or something. Like, dude, it was just like the worst scenario you could ever think. Sent me there. I think Jeffries, I know you're in here, man. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we shut the station down for 2 days. Because they're failing anyway. So who the fuck cares? You know, like, what do you know what I mean? So we shut it down. We did some training. We talked about things. We figured out kind of what the issue. The bottom line, none of those guys wanted to fucking fail.
Right.
None of them wanted to fail.
Right.
They've been told they've been failing this whole time.
Right.
Shit you not. I didn't do anything, so I can't even take credit. Those 3 guys, the first month, with a little bit of leadership and a little bit of support, went 100%. The 3 of them in an 8-person center. They went the next month. They went from last place to first place in the battalion. By the second month, they went 200%. And that third month, they went 200% again. And then I fucking left because it's probably all going to go downhill after that. I don't want to be part of that shit. But you know, it was just a total change, you know?
Yeah.
And the guy running it had literally been in USREC for 3 months, I think. It's just crazy, man. It was so toxic out there. It was so bad. And there was just a group of these guys who were literally being held down by a couple shitbags, you know, a couple like really, really shitty recruiters and leaders, you know, they're out there. Like, let me not try to paint a picture like we're not bad too, like we are. But it just goes to show you the fact that, like, dude, something so small, just listen to them, listen to their concern. The first thing out of their mouth, well, everybody that walks in here, if they need a medical waiver, they're turning them away. I'm like, what the fuck? No, everybody comes in. I don't care if they got a fucking degree, we'll make it for them, just like Major What's-Her-Face. Like, didn't matter.
Right.
Just kidding, dude. No, not right. Not right.
But I'm just saying, but I know what you're saying. No, because
yeah,
bring them in. Yeah, bring them in, because I had one, you know, my recruiters, you know, coming up in the world, and it's not, they're not really saying that we're going to fix something or do something shady for you. It's just that fact that my recruiter and some of the recruiters, like I said, dealing with my nephew and other family members, they've been fucking straight shooters. They were like, hey, no, we can't get this. No one's going to say, hey, that. And it's like, or a family member comes up, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to dime out any family members, but you're going to have that family member that wants to join the fucking military, and they take that ACFT or the test, the fucking entrance test, and they barely score enough to even fucking breathe. And then you gotta be that hard. You gotta be that hard truth. I mean, it's almost like participation trophies, or people telling somebody, it's like the opposite of calling somebody a failure when they're not. Here, we're trying to tell failures, hey, you're succeeding, good job, thank you. And you're like, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're fucking, you as the recruiter are supposed to give them the ground truth and tell them, hey, you're fucked up, you need to fucking do this, you need to fucking do that, you need to fucking do that. To me, that's not a failure as a recruiter. That's giving the candidate, I guess you'd say, or prospect, the ground truth on exactly what the fuck they need to know to get in. What's the thing about what's this Genesis stuff about the going back and some medications that you took when you were a kid now is flagging, but you can't come in the military, but there's soldiers that are in right now that are taking the same medication that you couldn't come in with, if that makes any sense. It's like, I know Sergeant First Classes and Staff Sergeants that are taking medication for ADHD or whatever, and they couldn't come in the military because of it. And I'm thinking, why the fuck? What's your take on that?
I think it's crazy. And I think it's crazy in a couple different ways. One, I understand it. I understand why things are the way that they are. So we can check that block. Does that solve anything? Absolutely not. With the Genesis, I'll be honest with you, I never had to experience it. So I totally got to miss that whole part, thankfully.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know if I would have been successful. Because correct me if I'm wrong, people, but yeah, you were forced to pull medical records on these people. And that is not always the best thing when you know, your physical and mental health are very important for your entrance into the military.
Right,
So,
exactly.
but I mean, dude, holy hell, we're like, we could go on a way different topic with that. But yeah, I mean, it's insane what you can do while you're in, when you got your foot in the door already, compared to trying to get in. I mean, dude, you got to be flawless getting in. And by the time I left, not even by the time I left I was on so many pills, man. It literally looked like I was running a CVS out of my kitchen. It was fucking insane. And you know, and the worst part about it is like, you with my own struggles and my own story, like I didn't realize how bad it was, like how I've literally been medicating or medicated since basically I came back from Iraq. And like it's fucking crazy like how we're just so supportive of that. And like even the one video, the guy making fun of like, yo, like dispensaries, you know, like why won't we relax marijuana laws, but we got fucking class 6 on base.
Right, exactly.
Like okay, I'm glad you said that. Solid fucking point. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Why is it the way that it is? You know, and the problem with it is a lot of the shit is happening behind the curtain. You know, and it sucks because these are things that we should know about. You know, these are things. These are the people's voices that matter. You know, because out here in the real world, tattoos are a thing everywhere on a body. Piercings are a thing. I can understand that, but drugs. I seen something yesterday. It was like, you know, the war on drugs. Like, when's the last time we heard shit on that?
Right, exactly.
Did we win? Like, no, we didn't win on that shit.
Yeah, I know, because you know, this is Sergeant's Time. This is a military related show, so we can't talk about things that you need to do while you have a DD-214. But no, we're not winning.
Yeah, but no, it's a tough battle, I think. But see, I also think that I think there is people in place who are trying to make those moves. Everything is just slow when you're dealing with the government. So we're never going to see anything as fast as we want. We're never going to be 100% happy if you look at the end state. But if you look at the progress, we'll get there someday. We'll get there eventually.
Right, exactly. All right, Adam. Hey, man, I know you got to get going, but great. Hey, wait a fucking awesome, you know, fucking USAREC tea time, man. This is breaking the ice, bro. This is some good shit. And I know you're probably going to go back when you're done and start collecting more notes and hit me up in the DMs for the next segment.
Hey, this was fun, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, you guys, I mean, you're always welcome. We always have we had Recruiter Time 6 on here, and then of course we got the warden that will shoot the shit and throw some comments as well. But again, brother, thanks so much for hanging out. And again, you got anything you want to say before I cut you off?
No, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and all the nice things everybody's saying, and just take care of each other. If I could say one thing, you know, make sure that you have make sure you're a step parent first. Fuck up somebody else's kids before you do to your own. That's my advice. Fuck them kids, right?
Fuck
for
them
military
kids.
Related, I don't know.
For military, yeah, fuck them kids, but not like literally. Don't fuck your troops. But we're just saying, fuck them kids, as in, yeah. But you know what I'm saying. All right, Adam. Hey, brother. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later. Yep. All right, so that was Adam Boktor, I shouldn't say he's the Taliban. I think I'm just going to call him Adam from here on out. So thanks again for Recruiter Times. Again, this is a new segment we're testing out. So it's not going to be a frequent event. It's going to be in the event there's some ranting and goings on that you know that Adam needs to talk about. Then he's just going to just jump right the fuck in. He said, "Ice, I need to talk. It's time for some USAREC tea time." Then that's it. Where he's going to spill the tea. But I just wanted to just get a little intro with him, and also break the ice, no pun intended, with having him as a guest co-host to do this little segment. Again, all this here is to help out our friends over at Recruiter Time, so that way when they get their podcast stuff set up, they're moving and shaking too. So once that stuff gets set up, you're gonna see them do their own stuff. So for the meantime, I don't mind Adam hanging out and doing his rants and talking about the latest in USAREC news. I answered a lot of my questions. I still had more questions, but I wanted him to do most of the talking. So again, brother, thanks again so much for hanging out. So real quick, I know I talked about when we were shooting the breeze about the the new promotion point system that's up, and we also have, of course, the recruiting ribbon. I think honestly, again, like Adam said, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the recruiting ribbon, because nowadays, with the way promotion points are, and you know what, the way how do I say this? The chintzy way that the fucking how do I say this? It seems like they're stingy. Leaders are stingy with awards. And I don't understand, what is it? Why is it that leaders are stingy with awards, specifically now? Why? It ain't gonna fucking cost. It doesn't cost you anything but your signature, but a couple of 0.5 cents of ink to sign up. Well, now not even ink, just digitally sign it. To allow to have that award come across, there's nothing wrong with that. So I really think that sometimes that leaders lose focus on the troops and not realize that it's a big boost. I still couldn't grasp. You got to earn it, boot. I'm still grasping the fact that the recruiter mentality of being called a failure. Man, I got a story I want to say. I want to talk about. I was the first sergeant. I had a bad commander. Me and the commander didn't click. He wanted me to call. He wanted me to call one of my NCOs a fuck up, and he had me walk into his office to call one of my NCOs a fuck up. And I said, fuck no. I said, I might say that he's fucking up, but I would never call him, a grown man like that, especially when he's been busting his ass, a fuck up. You got me fucked up. I won't do it. And everybody who knows, who served with me and who was, when I was their first sergeant, they knew exactly what commander it was. And no way. Won't do it. So again, I don't get the mentality of the recruiters, how they're being told they're fucking up or they're a failure when it's recruiting. It's recruiting. It's not really that big of a deal. And ain't nobody gonna fucking die if you didn't get that extra person in there. Now, the way I see it with the recruiting ribbon, and this is just my take, everyone's like shooting shit on it. Oh, whatever, this is fucked up, whatever. I think that the recruiting ribbon is good because that's part of the, how do I say this? And I don't want to sound all fucking old school and all, old back when I was in, or using some old concepts that some individuals are very not even familiar with. I see that as the whole soldier concept. I see that as an evaluating part of a soldier being evaluated, especially if they're an NCO or even as a junior enlisted. I see the potential that the individual cares about the Army to be willing to talk somebody in dumb enough to join. I shouldn't say it like that, but talk somebody in to join the Army. That right there is thinking about the Army. That is thinking about above the Army. So I'm kind of for it. I mean, I'm for it. I don't want to say kind of. I am for it. I want to see them soldiers get a bunch of fucking ribbons, like that one troop out of Fort Rucker that I posted up earlier, who got that ribbon. Fuck yeah, man. That shows that you give a shit about the Army. That shows you are thinking out of the box. I think you're thinking about your teammates. I don't want to throw any hashtags up like fucking this is my squad or people first or yada, yada, yada. But if that soldier took enough time to convince somebody to join the Army, then that's fucking, dude, that you can't fault the soldier for that. You can't say the soldier's not thinking about the Army or placing the Army before them when it comes to that. That's just my spiel on that. Now to go back what I was talking about the whatchamahuzits, the promotion points. This is posted on the IPS-A on the IPS-A Twitter, and also on the it's also on their IPS-A.Army Army G1 website. So again, current points. You're as a matter of fact, you see it right there. Can you fucking see that shit? Maybe you guys go full screen or something like that if you can see it. Or if I make it bigger. Let me make it bigger. I think if I make it bigger, then you can see how big it is. There you go. There you go. So military training course, current points is 340, and it looks like they're reducing it for the points right there for promotion to sergeant. And then of course physical fitness has gone down a little bit down to 120. That's from 180. That's what she said. Okay. Like, thanks. Twists. There you go. Appreciate it, everyone. See, everyone said I needed to make it bigger. And then, of course, April 1st is 145 for awards. So again, as of from 125. So this does not hurt. This does not hurt for you to write some extra chicken scratch on a 638 DA form 638 to award a soldier for anything nowadays. And now that they're getting the recruiting ribbon, fucking A, let's do it. I had a Bronze Star ground. I had a Bronze Star ground downgraded to an Archon because it wasn't. I know that. I know soldiers. I know individuals that I've served with that had Silver Stars fucking downgraded to fucking Archons or with a C device or something like that because they were not in the same, did they say good job at least? Yeah, exactly. All right, so computer training. I've seen that computer training stuff right there. They raised it up. Resident training 110, civilian ed it's about the same 135 total hit points. Where you're really seeing the thing that I like is that they made it now where the promotions don't really give a fuck, or I should say not give a fuck. The points have been lowered for physical fitness. One of the things that I don't understand is like everyone thought that somebody could be the greatest fucking leader because they ran fast, and the majority of their test scores got that high score because of a good run time. When really, everybody that I've known that is really good runners, I mean, they're good leaders, but I've also known some really good leaders that didn't have fucking an outstanding run time, or they just barely passed, not barely passed, but they made it like at least they broke 500 or whatever. So remember, it's the standard. You can't make another standard and say someone's a shitbag for an arbitrary standard when you don't even make the standard yourself. Like Adam was saying earlier, there's some guys with some double chins and shit, and they haven't had any combat time or not saying nothing, and they like to talk a lot of shit saying, oh, well, you're a failure. I'm still blown away about that. No wonder fucking USAREC NCOs want to beat the fuck out of their supervisors sometime because of exactly that. But yeah, what was the other thing that I wanted to highlight? A good PT score is a benchmark for being a good soldier. That's right. That's right, man. I know you're being sarcastic. I'm just saying. Let's see. Anything else that I wanted to talk about the freaking army? Blah 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 blah. Any army stuff on there because I think we're about ready to close it up. Yo, boy, he got arrested. What do you do? He didn't do it. Well, what do you do? Run fast. Exactly. Yep, I was saying those great leaders, man. But he's a great NCO. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He knows. I mean, he's a SARN. I know there's a lot of people that really got mad at the fact that I had Recruiter Times on here. Not mad, but they're like, why do you have them on there? Why not? These guys are the ground truth fucking USAREC. They're the foot soldiers out there in those recruiting stations that are trying to get your loved ones or your family or your friends to join the army. So, oh no. Did I see the new energy drink? Oh God, do I fucking do our ass? No, Musa, what's up, man? What's the new energy drink? Is it Sharia? That's what I'm talking about, brother. No, I'm just kidding. I have some Muslim friends that we joke around about. You know, if you had Sharia, this wouldn't be happening. I'm like, what? What's up, Musa? What's the new energy drink? Venom. No, really. What's the opinion about the overproduction pay? Oh, man, I can't. I mean, local Cletus. 3 Cletus. William Wallace's 3 Cletus drink. What the fuck happened to William Wallace? We need to keep in touch with him. At any rate, real quick, again, thanks so much again for Recruiter Times for pitching the idea of having a segment. That's awesome. I think it's a good thing. I mean, have these little segments right here. We'll be able to shoot the breeze, and let Recruiter Times do Recruiter Times things. Let's see, what do I got going on next week? Next week I got a guest on the Monday edition. Wow, here we go again. Let me put up the graphics here. Let me put up my graphics so I don't fucking forget. So that way we know that's Sergeant's time right here. So I can put my ugly face on there. There you go. So today's Sergeant's time. You heard USAREC tea time? You tea time with USAREC? Well, we'll get the title right. Don't forget, we got tomorrow. We got fucking Friday Night Freedom with Cause and Pooks, and then on Sunday, being Easter Sunday, there will be no show for the sports bar. It's all going to be Easter egg hunting and Easter baskets and fun and family stuff for Easter for those of you that do celebrate. Monday edition, of course, myself. We're going to have Christopher Martini come back, and he's going to come back to shoot the breeze and give me an update. He was on here before, and he worked on several projects, and he's given the opportunity to educate veterans and first responders about filmmaking and his other projects. So he's going to give us an update. And then exactly that, the Mandalorians. Exactly, they are the Mandalorians. And then let's see, Tuesday's Pop Culture Warrior. He's going to have a very important guest come up. You guys may know this individual from the Mayans. Do I say that? Is it cool to say that? Vince Vargas, Rocco. He's going to come on. And then Wednesday is the Smoke Pit with TZ and Radar. And then no Sergeant's Time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be out of the office from the 12th on until next Saturday. I'm going to be back at Bragg or back at Liberty. I'm going to be around that area. I'll be roaming. I'm going to be attending some ceremonies, having some LPD discussions, talking with some of the kids in the force, and I can't wait. So currently right now, all the PAOs are probably scrounging through and calling up their organizations to say who's going to be coming or who invited me to show up. I can't wait. And then let's see what we got. Don't forget to turn it. Did Fayetteville get a new name? Yeah. Liberty. Now I don't know what Fayetteville to get a new name. No. Why would you want to change the name of Marquis Lafayette, the namesake of Fayetteville, one of the individuals that helped us and assisted us in the Revolutionary War? So why would you want to change that? Am I going to the beach? I don't know if I'm making it that far. We got let's see. Next Tuesday on the 18th, we got Brad Williams. And we also have CQ, Nemo, and King on Thursday on the 25th or 27th, going to a comedy show, doing, WTF Nation walks the streets and hangs out and shoots the shit with some of our guests. And like I said, Brad Williams is going to be on the 18th. They're going to go to his comedy show on the 27th. But I'm going to be out of the net from the 12th until the 22nd. I'm going to be on the East Coast, son. And then, let's see, David Sobolov is going to be on the 2nd of May. God damn, we got Cinco de Mayo coming up. Whoop whoop. So I can't wait. Can't wait to see you and go back to it. Brag. Hey Musa, you could just drop that in the WTF Nation Radio inbox, or you could just drop it in the U.S. Army WTF Moments inbox and say, "Hey, this is for ice." Springtime means and seafood. Man, I don't have a springtime body. I've been flat dicking. I've been traveling. My eating's been good. My PT's been all fucking disrupted. So I gotta freaking, I gotta get myself in shape. I gotta get myself to Ranger panty season, so I can wear Ranger panties and y'all don't laugh at my little skinny stringy legs. I don't have skinny stringy legs. I'm just saying. Again, shout out to Recruiter Times, and thanks again to Adam Boktor, retired Sergeant First Class recruiter, and in the scenes and on the streets with the Recruiter Times team. The Mandalorians is I like to call them Mandalorians, but everyone gets mad when I call them. I'm like, why? They're fucking like literally they're like Mandalorians, say shit the way it is. Have you guys seen the new Mandalorian episode? And everyone's like fucking going nuts about it. So the new Bud Light bikini calendar is going to be nuts. Or you mean like of? Sorry, just thought I'd throw that joke out there. I know that's a very touchy subject currently right now. There's somebody who's if you drink Bud Light, you're not it's not cool anymore. But again, being that I'm a Tecate drinker, sorry, you lost me. Drank Bud Light back in the day when I was, the soldiers. I don't sit there and quip on the soldiers what they buy when it's come to free beer. That's the best beer. And sometimes they had Bud Light, so that's what it was. The Green Beret Club the Smoke Bomb Grill back at Fort Bragg used to sell Bud Light by the buckets. So, if there's a joke you can find in that one. But again, I drink Tecate. And then sometimes I'll drink some Modelo. But that's just me. Again. So yeah, all that controversy and shit. I don't care personally. You're not gonna see me go on air or post an Instagram video. I'm gonna shoot this fucking cans of beer, or I'm gonna freaking go nuts. I don't care. I'm not gonna drink Jack or whatever. don't care. This to me, it's don't buy it. Don't drink it. You know, don't eat it. Whatever. So it was only exactly. There was only a few special edition cans that was sent to that specific person. So it's not like it was like sold all over. As a matter of fact, I went to go get some gas yesterday in the middle of in the middle of an area that's got, you know, that has Trump flags flying and fuck Joe, let's go Brandon or whatever, flags flying around in people's trucks and shit. And I saw them buying a fucking Bud Light like it was nothing, like they didn't give a shit. But I don't need it. No, Corona. I don't drink Corona. Is Pip. I know I'm Mexican. I don't drink that Pisswasser fucking Corona. That was a deceptive beer, so that way white people can't drink all of our Tecate. That's the real reason why we made that. That's why I think, you know, Corona's been pushed off. I'm just kidding. But yeah, anyways, I don't care. You can't send that picture through WTF Nation Radio. What do you mean? Yeah, you can. Just send it to the inbox. Just send it to the inbox. You should be able to send it. But anywho, thanks guys for hanging out. Thanks again, Adam Boktor, you know, for giving us the tea time with Usurek, and then giving us all the ins and outs of it. And of course, he's going to be a frequent Usurek rant. So when he says, "Hey, I need to talk, I need to come on," and I'll let him go, just like I did earlier. So that's all him. Sherlock can follow on all of our platforms. We're currently live on 5. We're actually looking at more. We're looking at, you know, me and CQ. We're talking about putting more on there, putting some more platforms out there. So that way, not everybody listens to Facebook. Nobody likes to talk on Facebook or whatever. So that's why we have a Twitter. That's why we have YouTube. That's why we have Twitch. That way, in case you don't want to be on Facebook, either at WTF Nation Radio or US Army WTF Moments, then there you go. You can go on fucking Twitter and go up on there. And if you go on the app and you tap on the screen, you can put comments in there and little hearts and, you know, anger emojis or whatever. The same thing with YouTube. You go on YouTube at WTFNationRadio.com and the same thing. And at WTF Nation Radio on Twitch. So we might be adding more. Platforms. We just have to make sure that there's a tech compatibility that we can do to knock it out. And then once that happens, talking to some Instagram as well. So you might be seeing us on IG Live. We're you know, CQ's our tech guy, so he's in the, yeah, it is, man. The YouTube presence is lacking. I don't think anybody really knew, aside from a couple of posts and stuff like that, because it used to just be shit posts and some videos here and there. It was never the live video. So I don't think everyone's realizing that they can go on YouTube and jump on and shoot the shit. So again, it's no big deal. We got other channels to fucking listen to as well. So with that, if you guys don't have anything for me, thanks again for listening. Again, we're curious about the mental status of Station Houston. They've had their issues. Yeah, exactly. But again, share, like, and follow also Recruiter Times that we tagged in the fucking post. So Recruiter Times too as well. So you might see some posting back and forth between WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments and Recruiter Times. Again, until they get their site. Can't wait until they get that fucking shit set up. I can't wait. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate your support. Anyways, so y'all have a good night, and see you. Shots. Stay out of trouble, by the way. Y'all have a good one. See you.
poeta Lachi me acompaña cuando canto mi canción. Me gusta tomar mis copas, lo mejor. También el tequila blanco con su sal le da sabor. Ay, 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 mi amor. Ay, mi morena de mi corazón. Ay, 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 mi amor. Ay, mi morena de mi corazón.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.